Hi, welcome to the fourth episode of Life's Great and Other Lies. If you're new here, hi, thank you for tuning in. This is a podcast where I talk about everything and anything, and you do your chores or make art in the meantime. And for the people who have come in here again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me talk about everything and anything that I want to. Today we have a special guest over here with us. This is Aditi Agarwal, my roommate. Hi, Adi.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so the whole idea behind doing this episode is, first of all, we have like a physical guest and we have like a conversation. And second of all, to talk about roommates, college life, and stuff like that, because this is the first time we've been to college. I mean, offline
For me, for you, it's like what, 10th
third.
time?
The first time for me, like offline college, yes, yeah, and the first time like living in a hostel and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
So, Adi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So, as she mentioned, my name is Aditi Agrawal, better known as Adi. And about me, other than that, I'm from a small town in Madhya Pradesh, and I read, I write, and I love everything that involves a conversation or like people sitting together and talking. So like when Bipasha just came up with this idea randomly that, oh, Adi, let's shoot a podcast. I was like, sure, why not? Let's do this. So I think, yeah, this is not a lot about me, but I think this is it. And you'll get to know me better when we talk about more stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not that awkward. I don't know, I'm getting awkward.
I understand. So, like, everybody gets a little awkward in front of the camera, especially like the first few times. वो थोड़ा time लगता है used to होने में. And one thing that sort of Adi and I bonded over when we initially got to know each other was our love for conversations and talking to people.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the main reasons why we're like here in this room to begin with.
So like we had this thing about we used to do online meets when we were not offline, and in there both of us were like pretty talkative, and then we were talking, and then I think that is how we became friends. Initially we started texting then that, oh hey, I like whatever you talk about and shit. And so that we got close about that and we started talking more often, and I think that is something that we bonded over.
Definitely. And we like shared the story of how we became roommates.
Sure.
So do you want to go ahead, Adi?
Sure. So like before even we became roommates, and like for context, even before coming here, we had about 6 months of online college.
Yeah.
And so like when we were at home, our college randomly dropped a bomb one day that
February 19th, if I'm not wrong.
So like somewhere around like their February times.
Yeah.
In between of our second term that if
their
you want,
February
you can come
times.
to college and
In
do
between
your
of our
online
second
classes
term
from
that if you want, you can
I
come
was
to
not ready
college
to
and do
come
your
to
online classes from the
because,
hostel.
like,
But I was not ready to
and I
come
think so
to
was the
college
case
because
with
like
Bipasha.
I was just
And,
not
we
ready,
were
and I
already
think
friends
so was
before
the
that,
case with
and we were
Bipasha.
in a few
And
projects
we were
together.
already
Yeah.
friends
I
before
think
that, and
in
we
those
were
projects
in a
we
few
were the only
projects
girls. So,
together,
like,
and like naturally we were friends, and then naturally when we talked about it that okay, both of us are not going now, we'll probably go when it is a compulsion to go to college, so we can just be roommates then. And one day the college floated out a form that if you want a particular person to be your roommate, you can just fill this form, and I think we just did, and we like decided that okay, let's be roommates.
Yeah. From the moment that we decided we're going to be roommates, the conversation started that, okay, I like to live like this. These are my sleeping times. This is my eating habit and this and that. And I think that's something that we've sort of continued, and that's something that's made our roommateship as efficient and as good as it is.
I mean, as like filmy and as cringy maybe it sounds, but like we had conversations about how we're going to be as roommates.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't like this, I don't like that, and do you like that, do you like this?
Yeah.
So that we can like figure out a middle ground for literally everything, and so that there are no more conflicts when we actually come here. So we had like a lot of conversation. We even like on chat, we even sat on meets,
Yeah.
and we decided everything to the like, I am not that organized of a person, but Bipasha personally wanted everything to be figured out even before we come here.
Yeah.
And I think that worked out pretty well. I'm glad
Agreed.
that happened. I'm not at all like,
Salty.
why did we do this? Yeah. But like, I think it was good. But so, yeah, so we decided everything that Bipasha even tried to
Convince her to buy a certain color of bed sheets.
my mother didn't agree. She's like, no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that like we had those conversations, and that sort of makes us living together really efficient. We've seen examples of people in the hostel who are struggling a little bit, maybe
That is
because
true.
they don't converse enough, or maybe because they don't have that understanding. And the rule that you have, that sort of we've continued into our roommateship, is that don't sleep angry.
Yeah.
So like this is a rule that I follow generally in life also, and I think this is very important when it comes to friends or family.
Definitely.
That you don't sleep angry. If in the day something happened that you are salty about, or you just didn't like you had even a little bit of contention about that, I personally do not carry it into my sleep, because I know if I take it into my sleep, I'll wake up stressed, and
The next day is gonna be
yeah. The next day is going to be as bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
So I follow this rule sort of everywhere, that I do not sleep angry with anyone. Either I just let go of the things, or if there are things that need to be solved, I solve it before sleeping. So like a very practical example of what we do here is like, suppose in the day something happened that maybe one of us didn't like, what I'll do is, or what Bipasha will do is, like before we go to bed, we will just talk about that, oh, this happened, are you sure you didn't mind that?
Yeah.
And if like the other person did mind that, we'll openly say that, yeah, I didn't like that, and I like if you do not repeat that. And so I think this is one thing that has helped us not having any fights, as in we just have
Definitely.
conversations and we like sort things out. Obviously when you live with someone, and I think this is a big thing that like Bipasha is also a single child, she's never
Yeah.
lived with anyone, and even me, although I have a sibling, I've never lived with him. And even when I've stayed in hostel, I always lived in a single accommodation room, so I never shared my very close space with anyone. So I think that is something that that is something that was new for both of us, like having a roommate that you do not actually know inside out. So I think that was a thing, but then like enough and clear conversation has helped us a lot. We never like sleep on stuff. We just tell each other that, okay, I didn't like that particular thing happening today, or like that person who said that and then you supported it, I did not like that, can you not do that?
Yeah.
Or if you have like an explanation of doing that, can you just explain it to me, so that it doesn't stay in my mind and I do not keep it against you or like hold it against you. So I think that is, and this conversation thing is not just when we are on like here offline. This started way before, like the day we decided to become roommates, this conversation wheels sort of started rolling down the hill, and then snowball effect, and we talk about like literally everything, and I'm very grateful and happy for that thing.
Agreed. I remember like this once we were talking, and I think on chat it felt like I was like, hey, are you angry? Is everything okay? And that has very well translated into like us living together. And I think another sort of element to add over us living together is we hang out together all the time, or even if we're not together, we are a part of the same friend group.
Yeah.
So we see each other, we're essentially with each other like 24/7.
Yeah, and as much as it is a good thing, I think if you're supposed to stay with someone 24/7 and you do not have a clear conversation, that like messes up everything. Because
For how long can you like ignore a person or
Or
just
hold a grudge.
hold a grudge sitting with them on the next chair?
So I think since we have this thing of like, okay, we're going to hang out together in the day since we have same friends, and we are going to hang out together in the night because we share the same room. So I think it's very good that we clear things on a daily basis and we do not keep, and although like since we're talking about this, I think that sounds like we are fighting every day. We do not fight every day. It's just like sometimes like I've been here for like about what 45 days, yeah, around 45 days. So but in that maybe 5 days there was something that I felt, oh Bipasha, you shouldn't have done that in the day and I don't like it, can you not do that? And like I don't think more than 5 for even you.
No.
Like that's just like a very seldom of a thing to happen, but like that doesn't happen very often, but whenever it does, we like converse about it and we end it then and there.
Yeah. And to sort of pivot to another topic, like whenever we're hanging out with other people, I think not deliberately, but maybe even a little bit deliberately, we try to hang out with people who are also outside of our friend group.
Exactly.
And one of the people that we hang out extensively with is people from 403.
Yeah.
And okay, so for a little bit of context, so we're not living in proper hostels yet. We're in the process of going to the permanent campus. We'll be there pretty soon, I believe. And we're sort of in these flats. So our flat is 402, and we share it with another couple of 2 people. But 403 is the flat that,
Next to us.
yeah, that we almost every night, like, we go there for at least an hour. I've slept in their room throughout midterms, and like,
So like the thing is that we are hanging out with the same people every day, like our friends and then the people from 403, and shout out to them, they're amazing people. Our friends and them, like all of them here are amazing people. And so like when you stay with so similar people, you just basically forced to have conversations.
True.
And like you cannot get bored of each other, or you just cannot get enough of each other, because if that happens, that then things start falling apart. So that is why this is something that we try to follow. Like even one more thing that we kind of do is, like, when we are hanging out with our friends, in that we know that we'll be hanging out eventually in the night, so we
Yeah.
try to hang out with other people from the group, so that because we do not see them at night, or like we do not see them all the time, so we try to hang out with them, and like so we try to make things work. And I think they've been working pretty good
Agreed.
till now.
Agreed.
And
and like this 1.5, no, for me 1 month, like 10 days, has been quite a trip, like in every way possible. I think I've like grown up in like a month, and all like this life experience of like 1 month has been more enriching than all of online college combined, of all of the online colleges that I've been in.
yeah, you are definitely the authority on the subject.
For me, it is
My first college. So, but yeah, jokes apart, I think that is true.
Huh.
So, like, there is this thing of whenever I call my mother at night and we're talking and I tell her about all that we did in the day, she's like, all this in one day? And I'm like, yes, mother, all of this in one day. So, like, I think this college has been like a proper roller coaster ride. Like, in one day, you're experiencing so much of stuff that, like, you don't get bored of here. Like, you don't get bored of the people here, you don't get bored of the surroundings here. Sometimes you feel, since like usually ITs and IMs are very alienated from the cities, and so is our case. Like if we
Yeah.
go out of the campus, we don't have literally anything for like what a 3-kilometer
yeah.
radius,
Yeah.
and there is like nothing at all. So like you have to get used to this place, this people, and then in that too, your building, your flat, your room. So but I think the college has made it easier for us, because like we have so many experiences in one day that we are like doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that, so we don't really get bored of anything.
Absolutely. And like there's something going on in the, so okay, in the common room, I was going to say there's something going on in the common room 24/7 365. To explain, we don't have a common room as traditional colleges have common rooms, because campus abhi tak we haven't gone there. Like the first floor of our building is interconnected, and like a bunch of different rooms are the common room, the mess area, the common room, everything, gym, sab kuch hai wahan pe. So like you go from one room to another and vibe completely different hai. Someone's having some philosophical discussion, someone's eating food, someone's talking about stocks, whatever, like something's going on. And I think credits to our batchmates and the people that they are, like fascinating people.
It's like dynamic personalities all around you. Like there is not one person that you will meet and say, oh, they're boring. Like
Yeah.
I have not came across yet one of the person who is like, oh, I don't have anything to talk about with them and like they're boring. No. Like it's not just all like proper work things, or like
Yeah.
you go into a room and there is like what
Sheila ki Jawani bursting out of a room.
and then you go to the next room, people are like literally making their startup sitting in their room. So I think again that goes out to our batchmates for like being so dynamic and so talented in themselves,
Yeah.
that when we go out, like it's a whole of a party in every other room. So like
Yeah.
there's something happening everywhere, every day, at every point in time. So we are allowed to stay in the common area till 10:30 at night, and after that we are supposed to go to like our own rooms. Like we should vacate the first floor and go to like our rooms back.
The girls'
back up.
hostel and the boys' hostel respectively.
Yeah. So after that, but before 10:30, like till 10:30, I think dot 10:30,
Yeah.
there is something going on in some room, and
Yeah.
I think that's very fascinating, and we're very grateful for having that peer group, that something is going on at every second in the day and every minute of the day, and you can just sit anywhere and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like although there are like friend groups, and which is natural to happen. People need friend groups, but still the batchmates are like really inviting. You can go to any table you can sit in. People will include you into the conversation. You can talk to anybody, and I think like credits go to not just our batchmates but also like the college for whatever they did in their selection process. They did well.
Yeah, that is true. Like, I think that is something that we have been thanking our college for
Yeah.
forever. That we really don't know what is ahead of us, and online and all things were a bit tricky from the authorities and like the college side. But one thing that we have been constant upon is that we have probably got the best peer group that we could have gotten. Like,
True.
people here are, oh my god, like if we go into specifics, I think we can take up hours and hours and like just talk about one person and then the other, I think.
Yeah.
But we do not want to make it the profiles of like the IPM candidates. But really, the college did an amazing job of selecting people.
Agreed.
And there is no homogeneity. Like, there is so heterogeneous group of people. Like, you do not see that, okay, oh, all of these are from the same, some sort of social structure, if I put it in the sociological terms, because we studied it recently. But so like everyone is from a different demographic in like, I think literally almost every field.
Any sense, yeah.
In any sense. And so I think that is very, very nice that we got such a vibrant and such a different group of people.
Agreed.
And we still get to like hang out with every and any one of them. You can just put up a message or just call them, oh, where are you, can we, and you'll see us sitting in some common room, something like.
And like about the batchmates, I think I can't fangirl about them enough, because there are national level players, there are people who have represented India internationally, there are people who are currently representing our college out there in Singapore.
Yes.
And like someone has some talent, either someone's an artist, someone's a musician, someone's a dancer, and they're like acclaimed in their own field. And along with that, incredibly humble people, incredibly caring and giving people. Like a couple of weeks back, I fell ill and I didn't look that well. And so many people approached like, Acha, are you okay? Are you this? And like people like would take out their medicines and just, oh, this is the problem, this. And like everybody is a doctor over here. Everybody is ready to help you in every way possible.
That is so true. And that's just not about like instances when you fall sick or something like that. They're generally very caring.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem weird for you to like just go into Nescafe, and if someone is buying something, for you to just ask them, hey, will you buy that for me
Yeah.
too? And they'll not say no. Like, incredibly talented, but at the same time incredibly like down to earth people, humble people, grounded people.
Yeah.
And I think that is the best group of people that we could have like gotten.
I think one thing that we were sort of worried about, because we were coming late, was first of all FOMO, and second of all, how are we going to fit in with these people who are already here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it didn't take us long. Like within a week, it felt like this place, I've been living here for like a very long time.
I think even 1 week is saying a bit. Like,
Yeah.
in 3 days you were like, I know everything. And like, so we had this conversation back and forth when we were like coming late, because some of our friends decided to like come early, that, oh, when we go there, or like when they'll be there and we'll be not, will there be FOMO? And honestly, there was not.
No FOMO, yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
the most we saw was like Instagram stories from people, but then the friends who were like who were already over here, they decided to like include us in conversations. We still used to sit every night and like talk on meets, and like they used to tell us, oh, this happened. Like, I don't think there was one big instance of FOMO where you were like, oh, we're missing out on stuff. No, it was like people didn't. Even if there was that scenario, people didn't let us feel that way. And that fitting in thing like took like no time. We just got here, dumped our stuff in our rooms, and we were just part of the party. And I think that didn't take anything away from us. And that didn't. So that is why I do not have like a single point of guilt in me for coming late. Well, like just got some time to spend with family, and that's amazing. So I think that again goes out to our batchmates for being so inclusive that like we didn't feel out of the place for like a single minute.
Another thing that I was sort of worried about, and I think we discussed so online it's still really easy to sort of collaborate, teach. So we had this culture of people teaching each other whatever they knew, and just in general having discussions about things. And I was worried that when you're offline, there are so many things to do. Like right now also, today only we planned on going to play badminton, and then after that, acha, let's go to this place to eat food. There are a lot of things to do. So that was one thing that I was worried about, that the knowledge sharing and the information and the discussion and the analysis that would sort of die down when we would be offline. But it's very vibrant in my opinion, and credits to our friends also for keeping it very vibrant.
That is true. I think in general, our batchmates, if like our batchmates are like golden people, the people that we have got are like diamonds.
Yeah.
So like those people cannot be compared to anyone. They're like the most amazing group of friends that we could have, like at least I could have ever wished for.
Agreed.
Like they're amazing people, people from like that have information and knowledge from every realm possible. You just sit one day and you're like thinking about, oh, what was Aristotle's philosophy, and someone will be like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
And so like that is just a simple example, and I think knowledge sharing has not stopped. And like credits again to our friends. So we all have our own hangout spots, like all the friend groups have sort of their hangout spots where they sit in the common room, and even we have one.
Yeah.
And so like there is this thing of, if we are sitting there, we're doing some work and we're teaching each other something. We're telling each other something, even if not teaching. And I think I've learned a lot.
Agreed.
Like I know about things that I didn't know about anything, like Photoshop, Blender, and then how to make a website, how to make designs on Figma, like literally everything. I think I set up my UPI after coming here. So like even that was something that I learned from people around here. So from the basicest things of like learning to set your UPI to like doing stuff like discussing Aristotle's philosophy, I think we do all of it in between.
And I mean, for the other batchmates that are watching this, you can say that we are biased towards our friends. I think everybody is biased towards their friends. But in general, like everybody in our friend group has some domain that, even if you don't say expertise, because I don't think so, we're at the level where we could say that we're experts in something.
Exactly.
But interest and knowledge, like anybody's interest and knowledge domain, everybody is sharing it, and sharing it in a way that they don't really belittle you.
Yeah, I think that is something that we have constantly like seen in our friend group.
Yeah,
that
we have observed and conversed about this before.
That when you ask someone about something, you don't feel small or less than them.
Yeah.
Because they have this amazing thing of, okay, they'll not even say okay. You ask them and they'll just explain it to you. I don't think there has been a single instance when you just like ask someone something and then they are like, oh, you don't know this.
Yeah.
Matlab, there was things that when I misheard some like what? Words like philosophy, and I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, philosophy. And then they would not say, oh, philosophy. They would just start explaining what philosophy. I'm like, oh, you said philosophy? And they're like, yeah. Okay, this person didn't even belittle me when I was asking like for an simple English word.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that a lot of people here have, and especially our friends.
Yeah.
And like as Bipasha just said, that everyone is sort of interested and sort of acclaimed in their own fields, but you don't feel small when you ask them.
Definitely.
For example, I just learned like from one of our friends, I learned how to solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube, and like shout out to him, he's like a national level Rubik's Cuber or whatever they are called. So like I couldn't figure out a step, and like I tried it so many times, and then he was just like, okay, no problem, let me show you. And then he was like, so that is just one simple example, but that happens around here about everything and anything and at any point of time.
True. Yeah. And I think the one thing that, so I really enjoy working, and that's sort of the one thing that I bond over with people. And for us, I don't think so we always need to have fun or hang out doing something like really exciting. We hang out doing the most mundane things. Even during exam week, like someone was studying some other topic of math, someone was some other, and in the middle we'll have these like breaks or these, I'm on this exercise, this question number, can you tell me? So we are working remotely but together.
Yeah. So like it's just sitting together and doing your own stuff.
Yeah.
So like everyone is sitting in the same room across the same table, but they're doing all their own stuff, and like in between we'll take time outs to like discuss stuff. And I think that is something that all of us bond over, that everyone in our friend group really enjoys to work. So like everyone is doing their own work, their own thing, and there is no need of conversation in those particular times of work, we're just sitting together and we're all doing our own stuff. And there is no questioning to anyone that, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you not doing this? There is no shaming to anyone, oh, you're doing this while I'm doing this. Because there are times where you are just writing a journal entry and someone out there on the same table is making a website. And there is no up or down in that. There is no looking up or looking down to anyone. We're just all moving at our own pace together.
Yes, agreed. And something that sort of creeps up in certain low moments when like you realize कि oh okay अच्छा इसके बाद job करना है, इसके बाद life में कुछ करना है, ये है वो है, is insecurity. Looking at your own friends, you're like, oh god, they are so good at this one thing. Like I can list like 10 things that they can do in the future, 10 things that they can already deploy their skills into and do whatever from. What am I going to do in life? And there are these like really tiny moments of insecurity, not really from the person, but from the whole idea of how far behind you are.
Exactly. Like, so since there is this group consists of people who have very varied fields of interest, I think that happens sometime. And again, it is not because of the people who are doing it.
Yeah.
It's just when you see someone in a field that is completely and entirely new to you, and they're at some point in that field, you just look, oh, if like I'd made this analogy that if we're like there are different tracks on which all of us are running, and when you see from your track to their track that but when you stand in their track and see, oh, they're so far ahead, but you at those times forget that you are also somewhere in your own track. You just forget that, and sometimes you just look at the other track and you think of yourself from the starting point, and that is not how it works. But insecurity doesn't understand these things. That split second of insecurity doesn't really like gets the logic of, oh no, we're okay. For a second there will always be like this thing of, oh shit, I'm far behind, I have a lot to do and they're already far ahead of me. But then I think that is something that I also do not despise completely. I think that is something that should be there, because those cliche quotes like be the dumbest person in the room, or you are the average of 5 people you spend time with. Now if I think about people who are constant, and like no offense to someone, there are people who are starting, but if I stay with all the people who are just at the beginning stages and they know nothing more than me, then 5 years down the line, how will be I'll be ahead from where I am today. But when I spend time with people who are already above of me or like ahead of me in some field, when I see myself some years down the line, I see myself somewhere in the average of theirs. And like that is so true that if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Agreed.
I think for me at least personally, I've made it to my point like after school life to be around people who are ahead of me, and like see, because emotions like jealousy and insecurity do creep up at those times, but it is our job, I think, to shush them down. That no, you're not relevant here, these are my friends and I am here to learn from them and grow with it. I think that is a conscious choice that we make daily. That even if this makes me insecure in the moment, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to learn from this person. I think that is one thing that I'm really, really proud of myself for, like making that conscious choice every day in and day out. And like I think all of us are doing that.
Agreed.
Being
in some capacity we are. And in general, like I think through like tiny moments that you can't really describe or put a finger to, you feel that someone else is trying to sort of hush your insecurity or reassure you that even if they are that far ahead in their journey, you can learn so much from the path that they've already taken, the mistakes that they've already done.
Exactly.
So we ran into some technical issues yet again. This was the second time we were recording this podcast, and yet again we ran into technical issues. That is okay. So I haven't gotten my camera here. This recording setup, if you could see, it is
basically some cardboard boxes, a small tripod over it.
There are 2 cardboard boxes over here, a tripod that is balancing on a book. There is a table lamp over here and another camera over here.
So,
it is very...
really sorry for the technical issues that are happening.
I am sorry for that, but moving on, what were we talking about? Insecurities and friend groups. But I think like at any given opportunity, our friends try to sort of settle it down.
Mellow it, like harsh my mellow and I think like you just... at any given point in time, there is no contention or no like looking down from their side, we try to not do it either. And
Definitely.
because there are always things that
We don't
someone
know.
is better than us.
Huh.
And if you keep feeling belittled, at one point you'll stop asking. And
This is something I wish I could tell my younger self, because maybe in school that was there somewhere and I wasn't really able to pinpoint it. For people who are in a similar situation, and even for my past self, like if you're in a place where people are better than you, or if you just feel intimidated being around some people, stick there for a
Stay
while.
there, yeah. Make that choice, like feel uncomfortable and still
Yeah,
stay there.
yeah.
Like feel a little bit behind from everyone and still stay there, because it's about that racetrack analogy again. If you just look at people who are ahead of you and leave the racetrack, how are you going to get forward?
True.
But if you look at people who are like ahead of you and then you run to like, even if you're not at their level after a given time,
You're much ahead of
of
where you
were. And I
Yeah.
think that should be the ultimate goal, getting better from your past self and not anyone else's. You cannot compete with anyone else, because the things that they go through, the situations that they pass through will never be exactly same as yours.
True.
So I think that is something that you should always strive for. That first of all, try to find a friend group that does makes you uncomfortable sometimes.
Slightly.
As in uncomfortable as in when they're more knowledgeable or
Knowledgeable,
informative
skilled.
than you.
Yeah.
Try to find a group like that is there, and like not if you do not get a group, find individuals who are better than you in different realms, and then when their achievements or when their position in the racetrack makes you feel a little bit behind, feel behind and still stay there. Just
Yeah.
don't run away. Just feel uncomfortable, feel a bit insecure and still decide to stay
Yeah.
there.
And take all of our advice with whatever grains of salt that you want.
Definitely.
Because we're still college students, we're still learning.
And don't be with people who on intention make you feel bad.
Yeah,
Like,
that definitely.
if you have those people, just run away.
Yeah.
If someone is at a good level but arrogant, not worth hanging out
Agreed.
with. We hang out with these people because I think they're the
Incredibly
most
humble.
kind and humble people you can find.
Yeah.
And that is the reason that makes us stick, I think. If anyone was like rude or arrogant about it for a second, I think none of us will stay.
True. And to sort of like wrap up this podcast, one of our friends bought this topic on, and I really want to talk about it. How like when you're living in a particular moment, you realize how beautiful it is, but then that sort of like anxiety or something from the back comes. The voice in your head comes in and says that, hey, this is really great, but this is only going to last for a finite amount of time, and like this too shall pass.
Yeah, so there is this story of like a king once asked in his kingdom that tell me one word that when I read when I'm happy I become sad, and when I'm sad when I read it I become happy. So everyone like found in books and shit, and like one day a peasant comes up and say the line that if you listen when you're happy you'll become sad, and if you listen to it when you're sad you'll become happy, is this too shall pass.
Yeah.
And I think that is even though us saying that now sounds a bit superficial because we're just finishing the first year.
Yeah.
And if we decide to not even do the postgraduate, we still have 2 years ahead of us. And 2 years is
It's
a
a long time.
Like a long time. But even then, I think it is good to like sort of, and it naturally comes up in like the back of your head that this too shall pass. And there is no harm in keeping that in your mind. Just don't keep thinking about future and just don't
Live in the moment,
Yeah.
as cliche as it sounds.
just try to live in the moment, and just keep it in like the behind of your mind that someday these will be the days that you'll like look back on and smile about looking back on, but they'll not last forever, so make the most out of them and just do whatever, because they say that college are the best 4 years of your life, and like whatever period of graduation you're doing, people usually say that your undergraduate is the most fun period, and I think I sort of agree. Like school had its own limitations, its own contentions, its own sort of limiting beliefs, but when you come to college and a college as diverse as ours, so I think we have like mentioned it quite a few times that the people here are very diverse, and not in just their skills or like just their skill set or personality, but even from the very basic things, like they come from various amounts of places.
Yeah.
Like friends here, like we have friends here who are from like the northeast, the south, the north. So
Everywhere.
there are people from everywhere. So this opens sort of your zone of
Yeah.
like interaction with people. So yeah, interact with everyone. Don't like dismiss anyone on their first sight.
Absolutely.
Try to have a few conversations. There will definitely be people that you don't like. There is this quote that I very religiously follow that like you can be the sweetest peach on the tree, but still there will be people who don't like peaches.
Yeah.
And that stands with you as well as others. There will be people who are like the best of people, but you'll still not like them. And you can be the best of yourself, but some people will still not like you. And I think that is something that I have like made myself to live, that not everyone will like me.
And I won't like everyone.
And I won't like everyone. And I think that makes life very easier. But at the same time, don't dismiss anyone on the first conversation.
Definitely.
Stick with them, talk to them
Observe
a few
them.
times. If they still aren't your kind of people, you're not forced to stick around with them. But I think college here is a time where you look around, where you like try to hang out with people that you might not hang out before this and after this. Because even after this, I think we'll be going into certain
different
homogeneous realms. Like you, if for example,
the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. But then again, if I go decide to like work in a corporate, there'll be a certain amount of corporate people that I'll be meeting. But college, like that breaks that limitation.
True.
So with keeping this too shall pass thing in the back of your head, and not really overthinking about it, but at the same time, try living in the moment, try making the best out of these years. I don't think they'll like come back and they will not get to like
relive it
or like just have anything like this again. So I think this is what something that we have noticed in the very less amount of time that we have lived there, that some experiences are only a one-time experience. They don't really happen
again and again.
second time, because like coordinating something once and like then actually doing it is easier than to like keep repeating it. The streak breaks.
Yeah.
So I think every streak will do eventually break, and that is not as sad as it sounds, but yeah, try to live the streak while it is here. Try to be with people who are around you. Try to be with like everyone, and don't go with very harsh feelings for anyone. Just keep everything light. Don't be very.
Don't take yourself a little too seriously, or even others.
And don't even go to any extremes. You don't like someone, you don't need to necessarily use the word hate. You just like someone, you're just not their personality match. Just don't go around saying that, oh, I hate that particular person. There is no need for us at a this young age to like keep these harsh or hard feelings. So I think just if you are a college student,
or if you're going to get into college,
keep this in mind, that don't be on the extremes. This one advice that my brother recently gave me was when you're going to be in college, you are definitely, because that is human tendency, everyone around you, you're going to see their flaws.
Yeah.
And your job is to not point out their flaws, but look at them for the good characteristics that they have and stick with them. So he said that is how you make good friends in college. If you go around finding flaws, there are flaws in everybody. But think about it on the other side, that even you have some flaws. So if people start looking at you focusing just on your flaws, you will have no friends, you will have no people. So don't go around looking flaws in anyone. Just be an optimist. For every pessimist that is hating me right now, don't. Be a little bit optimistic. Just be good to people and people will be good to you, and don't go around looking flaws. I think
on that note, I would like to wrap up this podcast, because I think that's a very beautiful thought. And also maybe for myself, for a future version of myself, and for people who are coming, gratitude and being present. Those are the two things that I would like to leave you with. So that is where the 4th episode of Life's Great and Other Lies ends. I would like you guys to check out Aditi and her work. She's pretty active on Twitter. If you're someone who uses Twitter, go ahead and follow Aditi on The Goofy Kid with 3 O's
in the Goofy, because the Goofy with 2 O's was already taken. So I like my Instagram use. I also have a writing page on Instagram that goes by the same name, The Goofy Kid, _Goofy.
I'll be linking it down in the description.
Sure. If you're anyone who's interested in creative writing, and I tweet a lot. I tweet basically everything that is happening. So if you're interested, you can just follow and say her hi like on the DMs.
Yeah. And if you guys liked this episode, let me know. If you guys want Adi and I to discuss on something else, we'll definitely do that. I think the frequency of this podcast should be increasing now because it's really hard to talk to a camera yourself, but when you have someone to talk to, you can talk very easily. I don't know how long this episode is rolled. Okay, it's about like 40-ish minutes, but the last episode, so we already recorded this and it was about an hour-ish.
If we could have gone on and on,
True.
but like yesterday we ran into some technical
Yeah.
issues and we had to like scrape up the whole thing because it was so breaky.
Yeah.
So, but I think today we did pretty good.
Good,
Agreed.
I think one
Inshallah, the boys played
yeah,
well.
I think
The only one technical glitch, and
Yeah.
trust me, that is good.
Yeah.
Because
like
That's on the
yesterday-
lower side.
yesterday we ran into a lot of issues and
And and I'll also have other people from our friend group from the batch haven't come in. If in case you guys are familiar with somebody from the batch and you want them to be here, please like drop down suggestions. And yeah, that's it. Life is great, I guess.
also one thing, as we have repeatedly said that our friend group, our batch is a little bit of a crazier side of the people.
Huh.
I think, and that is not a very pluggy plug, but if you really want to see that what happens, what we do here, I think you should follow the Instagram page because you put the more lighter
Yeah,
stuff there.
yeah.
So like, even yesterday we did something that I think will be going out pretty soon.
Yeah.
So we do.
Most probably it's up by the time this goes out.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I think go check out like vaARTalap's Instagram page. I think that is the sole page of that the whole batch of ours is like invested into because like everything that's going on into the college is there on vaARTalap.
Some way or another.
In some way or another.
Yeah.
We had our midsems going on. I think there is stuff about there, and so like we do pretty crazy stuff. Our friends
And
have,
very happily and very proudly we do
very
that crazy
happily.
stuff.
Bipasha doesn't force us at all. we do it consensually.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've never incentivized you or like threatened you in any way or shape or form.
No one had ever wanted to sleep when you drag them out to make a reel. Never.
Definitely. Okay, hi. So we ran into a little bit of a technical issue and I just had the outro left to do. So thank you so much for listening. If in case you listened till here, I hope you've finished whatever you had started, be that chores or your painting or whatever. And if in case you want me and Aditi to talk about something else, drop your suggestions in the comments. And if in case you know somebody from the batch who you would like me to talk to, please let me know. And yeah, that's it for this episode of Life's Great and Other Lies. This is your host, Bipasha, signing off.